In the previous class, we have seen how we can handle static table. So where the data and rows and columns are fixed, and we have seen different operations or different validations on the static table. So today we'll see how we can handle the dynamic table. So basically, what is dynamic table? So dynamic table means the data keeps changing, the rows and columns keeps changing, which is basically called as a dynamic table. If I look at this table, here it is a dynamic table. So for example, let's say as of now, this is a current data which we have. So first column is memory, second column is CPU, network, and disk. Now, as soon as you refresh the page, so the columns keeps changing. You can just look at this. Now you can see the first column is memory. Now again, if you refresh the page, now the first column is network. Now again, if you refresh the page, now the first column becomes a CPU. So the columns order will be changing every time. And also if I look at this, the rows also keeps changing. So look at the rows. What is the first row here? Chrome. Now when I refresh the page, now the first row becomes somehow first row contains some other data. Now again, if you refresh the page, again the row data keeps changing like this. So now the row is system. Again refresh the page and now again becomes Chrome. So the rows and columns keeps changing in this dynamic table, right? This is called dynamic table basically. Now, how we can handle this? Let's say I have some scenario here in this dynamic table. So for Chrome process, get the value of CPU load. So where is the Chrome process? All the process are present in the first column. So first column is always fixed here. So the name column is fixed, and based on this column name and rest of the columns keeps changing. CPU, memory, network, disk. These four columns keeps changing order, but the first column is fixed here. So our requirement is for the Chrome process, get the value of CPU load. For example, here it is a Chrome process. And what is the CPU load of this Chrome process is 2.1 percentage. Now we need to capture this value first. We need to identify the Chrome process from the first column, and wherever the Chrome process is matched, then we need to go to the second column and get the 2.1%. But again, the challenging thing is the CPU percentage won't be in second column every time. It keeps changing. For example, let's say when I refresh this, now we can see CPU column becomes third column. Again, if you refresh it, again CPU column becomes last column. So this keeps changing. So our requirement is we need to find the Chrome process in the first column, wherever it is. Sometimes the Chrome process in first row, second, third, fourth, wherever it is. We need to find the Chrome process. That's the first thing. And once you find the Chrome process, then we need to find CPU percentage. 8.1% is currently we have, and that value can be either first column, or second, third, fourth, fifth, whichever column it is having. So we need to capture that value. Once you capture this value, then we need to compare this with our 8.1% here. The value which is displayed in the yellow box, we need to compare this. So this is our requirement. Okay. So there are two steps. First, we need to capture the Chrome process, and accordingly, we need to also capture the CPU load of the Chrome process from the table. Once you capture it, then we need to compare this with the value which is there in the yellow box. So this value also keeps changing. Currently 8.1% is there. Now if I refresh it, you can see the Chrome process percentage becomes 4.2%. Now again, data is also keeps changing. Columns also keeps changing. Rows also keeps changing. So this is called dynamic table. Okay. So we need to implement logic for that. So let us see how we can handle this type of tables. Go to VS Code editor and create a new file. I call it as a dynamic table.spec.ts. Dynamic table.spec.ts. Okay. Now, as usual, first we need to import required modules. Just a moment. Dynamic table. So import test expect locator from Playwright test. Now I'm writing one test here. Test first parameter is a description. I'll write verify Chrome CPU load in dynamic table. And then arrow function. And before the arrow function, we need to use async. And inside the arrow function, we need to pass a page picture. Okay, this is the structure of our test. So now let me implement this. First thing, we need to launch our page. Await go to dot await page dot go to page dot go to, and here we'll pass the URL of the application. This is the URL of the application. Now, the first and important thing is what? Whenever you want to work with the table, we need to capture the entire table data. The whole table we need to first locate, and then we will think about rows and columns. Okay. First, we will capture the entire table, and then we will verify if it is visible or not. The entire table is visible or not. So if I inspect this particular table, there is a table tag here. And also there is a class attribute. So tag is a table, class is also table. You can say table dot, table is a class, and again class, table is a tag, and class name is what? Table space a table hyphen script. Sometimes whenever you see some spaces like this, you can eliminate the space. Okay. If it is working, fine, or if it's not working, just try to eliminate the space. So for example, let's say go to selector hub. I'm writing CSS for this table. I say first a tag name is a table, and tag and class combination I'm using use dot, and you can see table is my class. You can say table is my class, and one element is located. Okay, fine. If it isn't located, fine. Or if it's not located with the single value, try to provide the multiple value. Now you can see when I say space, it is not locating the element. So instead, in this case, you can just avoid the space, avoid the value after the space. Now you can see it is exactly pointing the table. So one table is matching. Now I will try to use this uh, to get the data. And now I want to point the T body also, because inside the table, header tag is part of the TH. So we don't need to bother about this. And T body we require because the data is exactly present inside the T body. So along with this table, I want to get the T body also. So you can simply say greater than T body, because this is a child element of table. Or you can just remove the greater than. Instead of that, you can also give space. Now one element is matching. So this is the actual locator for the table. Now let me capture the table. You can say page dot locator, and this is our table, and storing in a variable. I call it as a table, and it is, let's say, const variable. Okay. Now what is the type of the table here is locator type. So you can say locator. So now we capture the table from the page. Now the next thing is we can add one assertion, table is visible or not. Simply can say wait, expect table dot to be visible. Do we have that method? Yes, to be visible. So first assertion is done. So we are just verified the table is present or not, table is visible or not. So this is the first assertion. So now actual thing will start. Now go back to the page. So what is our actual requirement here? First thing, we need to get the value of CPU load of Chrome process. So we need to capture the CPU load percentage for the Chrome process. And Chrome process can be present in any row, and also CPU column can be anything, like first column, sometimes it means the first column, sometimes it is second, third, fourth, because the columns keeps changing. Even the rows also keeps changing. Rows and columns keeps changing. So now the first step is we need to capture the CPU load percentage of the Chrome process. This is the first step. Let me capture this. So step number 1. For Chrome process, get the value of CPU load. Okay, so to achieve this, we will capture the CPU load later. First of all, we need to get the Chrome process, right? If I get the Chrome process means what? This is the value we need to capture. And once you capture, then we will think about the CPU load percentage, how to get the CPU percentage for the Chrome process. So first of all, we need to capture the Chrome process, where exactly this is present, because every time when you refresh the page, the Chrome is present in the different row. Currently it is in first row. Now again, if you refresh the page, now it is went to third row. Again, if you refresh the page, it is went to again first row. So every time when you're refreshing, it is keeps changing. Now we can see the fourth row. So we need to capture this Chrome wherever it is, whichever row it is. That is our target now. Okay. First we need to capture the Chrome process a Chrome value wherever it is. That is the first thing. Now, how we can capture this? So we need to repeat each and every row one by one. In this particular row, first I will capture the entire row. In this row, if it is a Chrome is present somewhere, and then we found the Chrome, or similarly capture the second row and find Chrome is present or not, and get the third row and again check Chrome is present or not, again get the fourth row, then check Chrome is present or not. So each and every row we need to verify whether the Chrome is present or not. So that's the first step. So we need to read each and every row, read each row to check Chrome presence. Okay. So how we can get the each row from the table, each row, the complete row, which includes columns also. So we need to write a proper XPath. So we already get the table here. We already get the table here, right? We need to capture all the rows. Before capturing all the rows here, we will find the total number of rows first of all. Okay, we'll try to find the total number of rows and check the counter. So even though the rows are keeps changing, find how many number of rows we have here. 4 rows are there. They are fixed. So before starting the step one, let us find the number of rows also. Number of rows. So how we can find? First, to find the number of rows, we need to select all the rows. Then find number of rows. So first we need to get, or we need to select all the rows from the table. Then we can find how many of them. So how many rows are there? Simply what you can do, we need to write a locator which will take the rows. So we already taken the table locator. Can we write chaining locator? From the table, can I get TRs? For example, take this locator. And if I inspect this element, and this will return table. Now from the table, I want to capture all the rows. Just simply say space tr. Now 4 rows are there. So this particular XPath we can use. But already I have written XPath till here for the table. So additionally, just we need to add only tr. So I will try to use existing table locator. So table dot locator, and I just pass only tr. Why? Because table is already located, which is already there. On top of table, I'm getting all the TRs. So this will actually get all the TRs from the table. And in which format? Which format? Locator format. Again, we need to convert into array format. So how we can convert into array format? By using all. Okay. So this will convert the entire rows are in array format. So in the first position of array contains the first row, second position of array contains the second row. Similarly, third position of an array contains the third row. So now we capture the table, we capture the rows here, all the rows we captured. So now we need to store them in a variable called rows. Let's say const variable. And what is the type of this variable now? It is an array of locators. So the type is locator and which contains an array. Okay. So this all method will basically return the promise. So we need to just add await. Perfect. Now I got all the rows. Can we count? Because it is an array, we can use length. We can use length. So let me print console.log of, I can say number of rows in a table, number of rows in a table. How we can find rows dot length. So I've just printed. Now if you want to add assertion, simply say expect take the rows array dot to have length. Because it is an array, we can use to have length 4. I'm expecting 4. So this is how we can find total number of rows in a table. So 2 assertions we have added. Now actual process will start. So we need to get the Chrome process in whichever row it is present, in whichever row it is present. So we already captured the rows. We can iterate the rows. We can repeat the rows. We can capture each and every row and check the Chrome process is present or not. But again, in every row, we won't compare Chrome with all the data. We have to compare the Chrome with actual data which is present in the column. So row is representing what? The entire row. From that entire row, we need to capture the first column value. Similarly, suppose if it's navigated to the second row, from again entire row, we need to capture only first column data and compare with the Chrome. So I'm using these rows. Just observe, I'm writing a one for loop because we have to repeat all the rows. I'm getting these rows and get to particular row of rows. From all the rows, I'm getting the first row here. I'm getting the first row, and from this row, we need to capture which column? First column. Let's say I captured my first row, and in which column the process is available? In the first column, name column is there. So process name. So we need to capture the first value. So take this variable row dot, yeah, how to capture the first column value from the row? So I captured the entire data from this row. In this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. Now I want to capture the first column value. Use use dot locator of TD, because row is basically what? All rows is basically an array. From those rows, we are capturing the row element. Row is nothing but is a locator actually, right? So row itself is a locator. Now from the entire row, we need to capture the first column value. So row dot locator of TD. Why? Because TD? Because this element, if I go back and see this particular row, TR is representing the row. So the value is present in the TD tag. All the data is present in the TD tag. So from that row, extract the TD. Now again, TD means how many TDs are there in the row? There are multiple TDs. This is also TD, this is also TD, 3, 4, 5 TDs are there. Again, among those 5 TDs, we have to capture the first TD value. First one means 0. Index is 0. Dot nth of 0. Dot inner text. Understood this statement? So first we capture the particular row. Inside the row, I went to the TD. Again, this is matching with multiple TDs. And among all the TDs, I'm getting the nth of 0 TD. That means the first TD, which is actually contains the name, process name, right? So that from that, I'm getting the inner text. So with this, what we have achieved, we have captured the process name. Inner text is written a string. So process name, individual, a single string. So I create this variable as a const process name. This is again a string variable, and inner text, because this inner text is also written the promise. So we should use await here. Now we successfully get the process name, and this will repeat for every row. So for every row, first row, it will capture the process name. Again, second row, capture the process name. Third row also get the process name. Similarly, each and every row will be repeated, capture the process name. Okay. So we got the process name. So what is the next step? We got the process name for all the rows, from all the rows, but we want to get the process name should be Chrome. That is what we want here. So we want to get the first row process name system, next second row Internet Explorer. Like this, it will capture all the process name. But which one we required is Chrome is required. So we need to put one condition here. So what is the condition? If this particular process name equal to Chrome, right? This is our condition. Yes. Now, if the process name is Chrome, then what we should do? So for example, I'm repeating each and every row one by one. I found somewhere Chrome process. Now immediately we need to capture the CPU load percent. And again, the CPU load percent is also part of the TD, but we don't know in which TD the CPU percent is there. See, currently Chrome we found here, but where is the CPU percentage? 1, 2, 3, fourth column. Suppose if you refresh the page again, Now you can see Chrome process is found in the third row and CPU is in the fourth column. Again, if you refresh the page, Chrome process in the third row, again CPU percentage is the third column. So the column TD values keeps changing here. Sometimes this Chrome percentage process is a first column, second, third, fourth, and whichever column it can be there. So now we need to extract the CPU percentage dynamically. That is very important step. So Chrome process, we find out. So wherever it is, once you found out this Chrome process, then on the same row, we need to capture CPU percentage in whichever column it is present, right? So for this, we need to write a proper locator here. So if the process is equal to Chrome, then from the same row, again, I say locator of TD. Just observe this carefully. So locator of TD from the same row, locator of TD. Now again, this is matching with all the TDs in the table. So from the same row, locator of TD means what? Matching with all the TD values. But which one we want to capture? Only CPU load we have to capture. But how to capture? How we will know CPU load is present in the second column, third column? We don't know in which column the CPU value is present. So wherever it is present, we have to capture that value. So we can add something here. Go back here. So locator as TD. Now we can put one condition on the TD. So what is the condition? We have one option here in the Playwright. So we already provided the locator TD, and this is matching with the multiple elements. 1, 2, 3, 4 elements are there. Among these 4 elements, I want to capture the value which is having percentage symbol. Is there, can you differentiate these values based on something? Let us say here it is an MB is there. Here percentile is there. Here MBPS is there. Here MB slash S is there. So every text is different. So now we need to capture the TD value, one TD value among these 4 values, which the TD value should have percentile symbol. That is a condition here. Now, how we can put the condition? So get locator of TD, colon, has a text. This is again CSS method, guys. Okay. So has a text of percentile. Has a text of the percentile and then close this. So TD colon has a text of percentile symbol. Close the bracket, close it. This is how we can put. We should not put a colon here. Okay. So this is all one attribute. This is CSS actually. This is actually a CSS. So this is the one way we can do. So this is actually capture the text value from the same row, wherever we found the Chrome, from the same row, go to TD, and whichever TD has this percentile value, that value will be captured. So how we can capture? Again using inner text. This is how we can capture the CPU load. So here I'm creating a variable called CPU load. Okay, and now I will define the CPU load outside of the for loop so that I will use it for validation later. So CPU load equal to empty value. I'm defining this. Let CPU equal to empty. Now later I will use the CPU load for validation. Okay, just observe carefully. So again, this inner text will return the promise. So use await. So with this step, wherever the Chrome is matching, we are capturing the CPU load. So this is one approach which I have. In the CSS itself, we can use has -text method. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so there is another way to capture this. Suppose this is one single statement, or we can also write the same syntax like this. So we have used TD. So close this tag. So I'm just closing the TD tag. After closing the TD tag, so this is matching with all the TD elements. But among those TD elements, we have to capture the TD element which is having percentile symbol. So what we can do is, you can say comma, just say comma after completion of the tag name and put curly braces. Here you can use a keyword called has a text colon, the value is what? Percentile. You can use like this. So this is a Playwright syntax, guys, and this is a CSS syntax. This is purely CSS. The whole part is a CSS. Has a text method is there in the CSS. But here this has a text colon percentile is a Playwright syntax. So if the TD tag contains this percentage has a text of percentile, then it will get the inner text. So you can use either this one or this one. So these are the two different approaches which we have. So I will also keep this here so that you can use one of them, or you can use this. So most of the times I will try to use this particular syntax, Playwright specific syntax, but you just remember both the syntaxes, right? So now I got the CPU load. So what is the next thing? We have achieved the first thing actually. So for Chrome process, get the value of CPU load. So as soon as you get the CPU load here, I will try to print, right? I can say CPU load of Chrome. I'm just trying to print this particular CPU load. As soon as you found the Chrome here, and as soon as you found the CPU load, so then what we should do, we should break the loop, right? So as soon as you found the Chrome here and capture the CPU load and printing here, do we need to repeat other rows once you found the CPU load of the Chrome? No need. So as soon as you found this process name is Chrome and immediately find the CPU load and print it, and after that I'll simply say break. Simply say break, exit from the loop. So now this particular logic is able to find Chrome process along with the CPU load, right? So let us try to execute and see. Let me open the terminal. So here I can say dynamic table dot spec dot ts. So I'm running in header mode. Just observe whether it is giving the right CPU load or not. So it is launched my page, close. Now you can see the CPU load is 2.9%. We got 2.9% first time. 2.9%. Again, the values also keeps changing. First time 2.9%. Next time the value can be different. Okay, I will also put some wait time so that we will able to see exact value which is present in the page. Await page dot. Wait for timeout. Let's wait for 5 seconds. So that exactly we will see the previously now we got 2.9%. Now when I execute one more time, so this time the value can be different. So wherever the CPU load is present in the table, it will capture. Now what is the value? 0.1%. Now you can see 0.1% is captured. So again, one more time I'm running. So every time the column is also changing. If I just notice that the Chrome is row is changing, column is also changing. Now it is 8.1% second column, but still 8.1% is captured. So this logic is perfectly working while you are capturing Chrome process and CPU load. So with this, we have achieved the first step. So for Chrome process, we get the value of the CPU load from the dynamic table. Now actual validation will start. So whatever value we capture from this table, CPU load value percentage, we need to compare this value with the value which is present in the yellow box. So you can see 7.9%, 7.9% is exactly equal. Now again, if you refresh the page, this time Chrome process 6.4%. Now again 6.4% is equal. So we need to compare these two values. So once we get the CPU load from the dynamic table, then we need to get this yellow box value, then we will compare this. So after breaking the for loop, next we will start another process. So let me keep it here. Now the comparison will start. So we already stored the CPU load value in the global variable. So in this variable, so we can refer this variable outside of the for loop also, right? That's the reason I'm created CPU load variable outside. Suppose if you don't create this CPU load, if I just create here, then what will happen? This is scope variable, right? Scope level. So this variable works only within the for loop, right? Outside of the for loop, it won't work. So that is the reason I just created this variable outside of the for loop like this and given a default value. So if I say let again, you should not redeclare the value. So you should not use let. That's the reason I define outside of the for loop, because I want to use this for comparing with other value. So with this, we have achieved the step number 1. Now the step number 2. Step number 2 is what? We need to compare the value. So compare it with the value in the yellow label. Yellow label. Now, so when you want to compare with this value with the yellow label value, we need to first capture this value from the yellow label. This value we need to capture. So inspect this element and write proper CSS for this. And what's the CSS of this? This is present in the P tag actually. This is present inside the P tag, right? So you can say tag name is a P, and do we have any other attribute? ID is there, so you can directly use ID also. P hash value of an ID. Tag is optional. Okay, even if you remove the tag, still it is locating the value. So now capture. So this particular thing is locating the entire value, not only 6.4%. This locator is pointing the entire box, not only 6.4%. It's a substring actually. Okay, remember that. Now I'm capturing that. Await page dot locator. This is our locator dot inner text. I'm using inner text. Instead of that, you can also use text context method, but you need to again use trim. Okay. So I'm directly using inner text. So this will actually return the value which is present in the yellow box. So I'm creating a variable, right? Say Chrome box value, or we can say Chrome box text. So what it is basically a string value. This is basically a string, right? So Chrome box text, I have captured the text from the yellow box, Chrome, or I can say yellow box text. So this is relevant. Okay. Yellow box text I captured. Now we need to compare this CPU load value is present inside this yellow box text or not. Right. So before that, I'm also printing console.log Chrome CPU load from yellow box, from the yellow box. I'm just printing this yellow box text. So this is printing actually the complete text, not only the percentile. It is just printing the whole thing. But at the time of comparison, we need to compare only with the percentile value, right? Not with the text value. So we captured the entire text in the yellow box text. Now we need to check this particular CPU load value is present inside this yellow box text or not. So for example, 8.1 we are getting here. You can say refresh the page once again. So this time we are getting 6.1%, and that 6.1% is a part of the whole string or not. We need to check. So for that, I'll put one conditional statement along with some assertion also. First, we'll write some conditional statement. If this particular yellow box text, yeah. So what is the string method we have to use to check the substring in the main string? This should include CPU load value, right? Both are strings only. So yellow box text dot includes is a method. Includes. And here you can use CPU load. So yellow box text includes CPU load. Then what we need to just print console.log of. I'm just printing console.log of CPU load is CPU load of Chrome is equal. And this is simple message I'm writing, and else not equal. Okay, CPU load of Chrome is not equal. So this is the condition, but we need to put assertion, not a conditional statement. So how we can put the assertion then? Expect. So here includes is a stringy method. Here two contains won't work. Okay, two contains is a assertion method. So when you're comparing or when you check the value in the string, we use includes method. So in expect, we use two contains method. So in expect, we will take this yellow box text dot. Here we use a two contains method. To contain of what? CPU load. To contain of a CPU load. So this is actual validation. Done. So this is how we can do. Now let me run this. Sorry. Clear. Dynamic table spec.ts. Right. So now just observe what is a Chrome process. 7.9%. Right. See, number of rows are 4, 7.9%. Even yellow box also CPU percent is having 7.9. So it is equal. So my test is got passed. Okay. So this keeps changing. All dynamic tables are not in the same manner. So it keeps changing accordingly. We need to change the logic also. So first we understand the logic and read the requirement very carefully. So once you understand the requirement, you can easily implement in the code, right? So this is how we can handle the dynamic table. So we have just captured the Chrome process in whichever row it is. And based on that, again, we capture the CPU percentage and whichever column it is. After that, we capture the CPU percentage from the yellow box and compare with the actual value. And both should be equal according to our requirement. Okay. So everybody's understood. This is how we can handle dynamic table. I will give some assignment also on this. So if I go back and see, you can do a lot of practice on this test automation practice. And here I have a dynamic table. Again, same kind of a table, but I have a 4 different requirements here. So this we have already done. CPU load of Chrome process. Similarly, you can verify memory size of the Firefox process. So what we need to do, we need to capture, we need to find the row Firefox wherever it is, in whichever row it is, and then go to the memory size. Where is the memory size? Here, the memory size. This we need to capture and compare with this value. Similarly, network speed of the Chrome process. First, we need to find the Chrome process in the whichever row it is. Once you find the Chrome process and capture the network speed. So where is the network speed here? In the third column. So 3.4 Mbps. And that value we need to compare with this here. Similarly, disk space of the Firefox process. Find the Firefox process wherever it is in the table and go back to the disk space wherever it is and capture and compare with this value. So there are 4 requirements are there. You can write 4 different test methods for this dynamic table. You can try this as an assignment. Okay, same process, right? Now we'll move on to the next one. Pagination table. This is something different. Pagination table. So let us see how exactly the paginations looks like, and we can do the different validations on the pagination table. So what is pagination table? All the data is available in the form of pages. So if I look at this particular table, so this is my table. So the lot of things in this table. If I look at this, as of now, it is displaying only 10 rows, but still the data is present. So how we can see the remaining data? You should go to the particular page like this. You need to navigate each and every page. Or you can just click on this next button. Once you click on the next button, it will show another 10 rows. Again, click on the next button, another 10 rows like that. So it will go till end. So if I don't have any rows, now the next button is disabled here. We don't find any more rows, the next button is disabled here. This is a pagination option. This is called pager or pagination. And in every page, there are 10 rows are present. Every page, there are 10 rows, they are fixed. Only in the last row, there are few rows are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows are there, but rest of the pages, we are having 10 rows. And this is one functionality we need to verify. We need to read the data from the table, not only from the first page, from all the pages, I want to read the data. So first we will open the table, read all the rows, then go to the second page, read all the rows, Now third page, fourth page. We need to repeat this process till we reach end of the page, the last page. This is one requirement. Second requirement, second validation is suppose I have lot of data in the table. Now I can provide or I can just filter the rows. So I can just go to the drop down here. Currently I selected 10 by default. So 10 rows should be displayed here. Suppose if I say 25, now the 25 rows are displayed here. And I say 150, the 50 rows are displayed here. This is also one validation we have to do. So whatever value we have selected from this drop down, we need to immediately count number of rows are equal to this value or not. That is another validation. So another validation is, for example, on the table. So if I go back to randomly some particular page 5 or 6 and take some name and again come back to the first page and you can search for the record. You can just search for the name. As soon as you provide some text here, the record should display here. And this particular name is present inside the record or not, we need to check. This particular search name is present in the record or not, we need to check. That is another validation. Okay, so these are the three things we can do. First thing, all the data from all the pages. Second, filter the rows and check number of rows. Third thing, search for the particular record in a table. So all these things we should achieve through our automation. This is called pagination table, which is also having filter option and searching option. Okay. Now, so we need to implement this by writing proper logic. So let us see. New file. I call it as a pagination table.spec.ts. Pagination table. Now, I'm writing the first test. What is our first test? Read the data from the all the pages. So I'm writing one test. Name is read all table data from all the pages, or read data from all the table pages, comma, and this is our arrow function, and arrow functions asynchronous function, and then page picture we need to pass. Okay. Now we need to implement. So in this test, I will write only reading the data from the table pages, and another requirement, I will write another test method. Okay. This is one test, reading data from all the pages. Yeah. So first of all, if I open this table, by default, you will see 10 rows in a table. So 10 is by default filter. So 10 rows we can see in the table. So before reading this data, first of all, before reading this data, what we need to do? So we need to check the rows are present or not. Okay, so currently by default, it is pointing to the first page. Okay, fine. First page is pointing. In the first page, do we have a data or not? Do we have a rows or not? That we need to check. If the rows are present, then we can read it. And before that, again, suppose if you're reaching the end of the page, so here the next button is disabled. The next button is disabled means what? There are no more rows. So there are no rows in a table. This is the last page. So next button is disabled means what? We are already reached the last page. So there are no more records available in the table. So I'm taking one simple variable here. So identifying the table and all, we will see that. But before that, I will create one variable, more rows. More rows. So what exactly this variable is? This variable, I will maintain some data, let's say Boolean value of maintaining. Boolean value. So more rows is what? A Boolean variable. So later I will use this variable. Where I will use this variable? To check the rows are present or not. Suppose if I click this, 2. So rows are present. So 3 rows are present, 4, 5, 6, like this. So pages are present or not, not rows. Pages are present or not, I will check. So if this next button is disabled, what does that mean? There are no pages available in the table. There are no pages. First priority goes to pages. Then second priority goes to the rows. First, we need to check the page is present or not, or the page is there or not. If the page is not available, then there are no rows, obviously. So to the pages exist or not in the table, to verify that, I will put one variable, more rows true. Not more rows, it is a more pages actually, okay? More pages. So more pages is true. As of now, I'm starting with the true. Whenever you found or whenever you don't find the more pages, then this variable value becomes false. So we will do that later. For now, let it be there. So we'll use this variable later. Now, by seeing this table, do you know exactly how many pages are there in this table? So by seeing the table, do you know how many pages are there? No, this is the dynamic. It is showing 6, but sometimes if we go here till 6, it may show some more rows. 7, 8, 9 you may get, right? So if the keep rows are keep increasing, rows are keep adding, this pager options keep increasing. So we don't know exact number how many rows are there in the table, because if you add more rows in the table, obviously the number of pages also keep increasing. So there is no fixed value of the page number. So we don't know the limit actually. We don't know what is the maximum page, what is the last page in the table. So we are starting with the true itself. So if I don't know the maximum, what we don't know the condition, then we go for while loop. Okay, if we don't know the condition, we don't know where we need to stop. We don't know what is the last page. So in that case, we will try to use a while loop. So in the while loop, what is the condition we put? More pages I'm passing here. If the more pages are true, that means what? If there are any more pages, if the, okay, I'll create this variable in a different way so that it will be more readable. Has more pages, has more pages. Okay, now if has more pages value is equal to true, then what does that mean? We can get the rows. We can get the rows from the table, right? So if the condition is true, first it will enter into the while loop. So now we will deal with the rows. So as of now, by default, it is there in the first page. Now we need to capture all the rows data one by one. So we need to write a proper XPath for this. That means, CSS for this. Look at this. So do we have this table tag? If I just go to the DOM, we have a tbody, th, column groups, and this is the table actually. Table ID equal to example. So go to selector hub and okay, so here ID is there, right? So I can say example. So this is pointing one element, one table. And inside the table, I want to get body also. So inside this example, hash example, t body, right? Space t body, one element. And I want to get all the TRs because I want to read all the rows. So I give TR also. Now 10 rows are there. Capture this XPath. So I'll capture this CSS. Now I'm writing await page dot locator of page dot locator of and then specify the locator. Now what this will return actually? This will return all the rows from the table, particular page, all the rows from the table on the particular page. But I want to, it will return in the form of locator actually, but I want to get this in the array format. So simply we use all, then it return in array format. So now I'm going to store all the rows in an array. So I create one variable called rows. So what is the rows now? Rows is basically an array. Rows is basically an array. So now we capture all the rows. So once you capture all the rows locators, can we iterate each and every row one by one? Can we print each and every row one by one? Yes. So let me just print that. So for that, here I'm writing for loop. Inside the loop, we can use another for loop. So you can see we captured all the rows from the table. Now we need to read each and every row and then we will print it. So how to print? From the rows of capture the row. From all the rows, read each and every row. Okay, this is a let. Now from this row, we need to extract the text and print the entire text. So how we can extract the text? Row dot inner text. row dot inner text. It will read all the columns of it. I'm not specifying TD tag separately. I just want to print the entire row directly. So row dot inner text. So this will return the text of the entire row that I want to print. I say console dot log of row dot inner text. So inner text will return promise. So here we need to use await this one. So this particular loop is responsible for printing all the rows from the particular page. Okay. Okay. What I'll do is I will just comment this and I'm just running only this particular logic and we'll see whether it is able to read the rows or not. So for by default, it is in first page. So from the first page, we captured all the rows and we are trying to print rows from the only first page. I'm not specified anything, simple logic. Then later I will add this logic inside the while loop so that we need to navigate each and every page. For each and every page, we need to run this logic, right? But first let us check this logic is working for first page or not. So I'm just running this. You can just run this. This is pagination table. Pagination table. Just check it is working for one page or not, first of all. Okay, it is not displayed anything. Okay, why it is not displayed? One test is passed. Okay, so we forgot something. Yeah, wait. Okay, sorry, we haven't launched the URL first of all, right? Yes. Take this URL. We forgot the main step. Await page dot go to done. Right. So now run this code. So launch my page and verified. So now you can see we got the data from the first page itself. See, this is my first row and this is my second. How many rows? 10 rows totally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly 10 rows we captured from the first page. So that means this logic is perfectly working for one page. Now we need to repeat the same logic for each page of the table. For each page of the table. So now what we need to do, just need to write a while loop. This while loop will repeat each page. Now this logic, whatever we have written, should be part of this while loop. Okay, this logic will read all the rows from the particular page. Fine. So we have read all the rows from the first page. Now what is the next thing we need to do? As soon as you have completed the first page here, so next thing what we need to do, we need to navigate to the next page. So how to navigate to the next page? By clicking on the next button. So this button we have to click to navigate to the next page. So when we have to click on this next button, if it is enabled, then only we will able to click. So when it is enabled again, if the next page is available, then only this next button is enabled. So for example, second page is available. When I click on this, second page will open. Still third page is also available. So third page, fourth page, fifth page. Now observe, when I click on the next button, sixth page is enabled. Sixth page is opened. But after sixth page is opened, it is a disabled state. Arrow mark is disabled. What does that mean? If arrow mark is disabled means what? There is no next page. That is a last page. So now here we need to put proper condition. If the next page is available or if the next button is enabled, then only we have to keep clicking on this next. And whenever the next button is disabled, that means number of pages are finished, then we have to exit from the looping statement. So we need to write this logic properly. After printing all the rows from the one particular page, right? So here I will capture the next button. So we need to click on the next button here. So we need to capture it, inspect that arrow mark. So we can look at this element in many ways. So you can just look at this. This is the element. So button element, next element. This is the element we want to click. So what are the attributes we have here is area of and controls, example is there, but area of control exam for other button also there is the same values there. Area controls the same values there. And what else which is having unique? I think area label. Yeah, this is unique one. I think let us check it and then we will use in our automation. Go back to select a hub. I'll try to use this area label along with this button. So tag name is button. So when if how to, what is the syntax? Tag and attribute, because we don't have a class is there, but this class is same for other elements also. So we cannot use it. So here we can specify button and area label area label equal to next. Just try this. Yeah, perfect. One element is matching. So in whichever page you are here, in whichever page you position, still this particular CSS is matching with the next button. Okay, so you can write CSS like this. This is one CSS you can use, and there you can create multiple CSS. This is one way we can access. Suppose I want to locate this next button using the text. Here it is, the greater than symbol it is. This is an inner text, right? By using the text I want to capture. So then what we can do, for example, let's say area controls examples I'm taking, this attribute I'm taking, just observe. So this is one approach. Another multiple approaches I'm giving you, so you can use whichever way you want. So this is, so this particular CSS matching with 10 elements, all pager elements. But which one we need? Only the pager having greater than symbol, right? So here you can use colon has a text method. This is CSS method I told you, right? As a text of what? As a text of greater than. As a text of greater than and close. Zero element, because this greater than is not exactly matching. So we need to copy from here. And because this is actually called as a pseudo element, not a greater than one element. Now you can see it is exactly matching. So this is also another way you can write CSS. This is another way. Has a text method is belongs to CSS. And this is not a greater than, guys. This is a pseudo element. We can call it as a pseudo element symbol. Okay, and another way is also there. For example, here, as of now, this is has a text I'm removing. So currently how many elements are matching here? 10 elements. So among this 10 element, which element I want? We need to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to count from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Let me check. So maybe somewhere the elements are there. We can use nth child method also. This is also part of the CSS. I say nth hyphen child of, you can specify the index of the element. Let's say when I say 1 here, so first element is matching. So it is starting from 1 actually. So you can say 2, 2 matching, 3, 4, 2 matching, 5, 7, 6, 5 is matching. Let's say 8, 6 is matching. Now the next one is what? Arrow symbol. 9. Arrow is matching. So you can also use this particular CSS. So these are the different ways we can identify the elements. Okay. So now I'm trying to use this one for now. So because as soon as you printed the rows from the particular page, we need to navigate to the next page. So for that, we need to click on the next button. So I'm capturing the locator of the next button. I'm not clicking, I'm just capturing the locator. Page dot locator of, this is our XPath. Sorry, this is a CSS. And that I'm going to store in a variable that is our next button actually. The next button element. Make it as a const. So this is a web, this is actually the locator. Okay, so we should not directly click this, because before clicking this, we need to check one condition. So before clicking on this, we need to check proper condition. So what is the condition? When we have to click on the next button, if it is enabled, then only we have to click. If I click on this, this should be enabled. If it is a disabled means there are no pages available in the table. So that condition we need to check before clicking. So how we can verify it is disabled or enabled? So how we will know whether it is disabled or enabled? We need to capture the value, enable or disable status. We need to capture, not assertion. Assertion means it will just assert whether we enable or disable, but that output we need to perform click action. The next action is click action. So before clicking on the action, we need to check this is enable or disable. So when I inspect this element, you can see something here. There are multiple attributes are there, right? In those attributes, as of now, these are the attributes. Class, what is the class attribute? DT, paging, button, and the next. So this is the current the class attribute. Get attribute of class. So this is a button and this is an attribute. DT hyphen paging hyphen button next, right? Suppose just see this clearly. So DT hyphen paging hyphen button next. So once you reach the last page, now it is disabled. Now it is disabled. So after disabling this element, again you can check the same class attribute. So what is extra added in the class attribute? Something is added extra, disabled, right? So this keyword is additionally added. So this is a crucial point. So previously, when the button is enabled state, the disable option is not there in the class attribute. But once the button is got disabled, then we can see disable option, disable inside the class. This is the point. So based on this, we can check whether it is enabled or disabled. Okay. So now what I will do is, let's go back. We anyway capture the locator, the next button, locator. So now we need to put one condition. Attribute value we need to capture for the next button. How to capture next button? Dot get attribute is a method. By using get attribute, we can get the value of the attribute. So what is the attribute we are referring here is class attribute. So specify the class. So actually this will return the value of the class. What is the value of the class? This one. This is the value of the class. So that I'm going to store in a variable, another variable. So what is that value representing? Is enabled or not? Is an if that value contains a disable, that is a disable. If it is not having disable, that's a enabled. So I'm creating variable is disabled, is disabled, is disabled. So this will return this one. So this particular thing will return the value. Sometimes the disable is present or disable may not be displayed. Okay, so when we need to click on the button, if it is not disabled, then we have to click on the button, right? If it is not disabled, then we have to click on the button. If it is having disabled, then what we should do? We should exit from this entire loop because there are no pages are available. There are no pages are available. So I'm writing one if condition here. Just observe carefully. So if negative condition, I'm writing if or else. If else. So if is a disabled value, if is a disabled value dot includes disable, okay, includes disable, because this inner text, this get attribute return the promise, so we should use await here. Okay, so is disable is what? A string or null. It is not a string actually. It is not only string, it can be written null also. So in that case, includes we cannot directly use. Includes will work only for strings. So to avoid this conflict, we use something called question mark. Question mark is representing an optional parameter. So if this value is purely string, then includes is enough. But if this value is either string or null, it can be anything. So in that case, you have to use question mark here. Okay. So if the is disabled status is disabled, that means we are getting the attribute class and the class contains a disabled. If the class attribute contains a disabled. So what does that mean? There are no more pages available. So we have to make this has more pages false. False.
Okay. Later, based on this only, the while loop will be exited. So get the next button. If the next button attribute class includes disable, then there are no more pages. Oh, has no more pages is false. Suppose if it is not include disabled, means still we have a pages, right? So now we need to click on the next button in the else block. Here we need to perform the click action like this. So click method also will return the promise. So we should use await. That's it. So clear everyone, this is a very crucial step, guys. So first we enter into the while loop. By default has more pages is true. So condition is true, while condition is true, we enter into the loop and captured the rows from the first page and printed all the rows. After printing all the rows, we need to navigate to the next page. So before navigating to the next page, we are just checking the next page is available or not. So how we will confirm whether it is available or not? Based on the next button status. If the next button is enabled, the next page is present. If the status button is next button is disabled, then no more pages. So we are capturing the attribute of the next button is disabled or not. So if the disable, if suppose getAttribute class contains this disable status, includes a disable, then more pages, there are no more pages. So we need to make that more pages value false because there are there are no more pages if the next button is disabled. If it is not disabled, then we need to click on the next button. So this will navigate to the next page. Okay. So how many times this loop will repeat? Till the last button becomes disable. So here we no need to use break because as soon as the next button is disabled, has more pages become false, right? So again, if we try to repeat the loop, has more pages becomes false. If it is a false, automatically while loop will exit it. So here there is no necessity of using break. Okay, because here we are making has more pages false. If it is reaches to end of the page, then when I run the loop again one more time, has more pages value becomes false only, right? Whenever it is become false, then while loop will automatically exit. So this is a logic which we have to implement. Done. So now let us execute this code and see whether it is reading all the pages or not. So what I will do is for each page, I will put some wait time so that we can see whether it is reading all the data from all pages or not. So for that, I will put some wait timeout after printing all the rows. Here I will keep it. So these are the different paths you can write for the next button. Okay, perfect. So now I can run this test, go to terminal and click method, return the promise. And this is includes method here. GetAttribute is also return the promise. This is just locator storing. Okay, so everything is fine. Let me run the code. Go to terminal, pagination table spec.ts header board I'm running. So we'll be able to see whether it is navigating to each page or not. So just observe carefully. So it is trying to load page. Now you can see that it gets stopped. Yeah, now you can see we got only the first page, I guess. How much time we waited? 2 seconds only, right? Okay. So let it exit and we'll see what is the problem. It just stopped in the first page itself. Yeah, now it is got failed somewhere. So next button get attribute of class. This is a failing actually. Locator button area label next. I think this is the next path. 1 second. Sorry, this is actually CSS we have to use, but instead of that I have used something else. Let me remove this. Okay, that is a problem. So we got this locator area label next button and get attribute of get attribute next button dot get attribute of class. Okay, so let us run one more time. Control C, clear. Yeah, so now it is started reading all the rows. Now just observe third page. fourth page, fifth page, sixth page. Now it is disabled now. Then it is exited. So if I look at this, we got the data from all the pages. So this is called scrapping. So we just read the data from the table from all the pages. So whenever the next button is disabled, then this condition becomes true. If condition becomes true, then has more pages false, and the condition become false. While condition become false, and then it will exit from the loop. Okay. So this is how we can read the data from the table. This is for just reading the data from the table. Okay. So now let us move on to the next requirement. So is this clear, everyone? So the logic is important. So if you understood the logic, you can easily write the code. Every page. So the same logic may not applicable for all kinds of pagination tables. It depends upon the design of the table, how exactly the developer designed the particular table. So accordingly, we need to change the logic. So I'm just giving one example for one pagination table, but other pagination tables, the logic will be different. So I will also give an assignment on the pagination table later. So now let us move on to the next requirement. So what is the next requirement? Filtering. So in the same table, so as of now, by default, it is displaying 10 rows in a table. So if I just filter like this 25, then the rows will be 25. And I say 50, now the rows will be 50. So this I want to do verification. So just I will select a 25 and then I will check the table contains the 25 rows or not. 25 rows or not. Okay, so this is one test. I'll create another test. We can create a number of tests in one file. So this is another test. So here, filter the rows and check the rows count. So we can filter the rows by using drop down, and then we will check the number of rows are exactly equal or not. So I will try to remove this part. Okay. So now let us implement this test. So launching the page. And after that, what is the first thing we need to do? We need to get this drop down element because this is a starting point. So from the drop down, we need to select the value. Either you can use visible text, label, index, whatever you want. So inspect this element, drop down element, go to selector hub, and we have select here example. Class is also there, ID is also there. So let me try to use ID, hash ID. Yeah, one element is matching. Get that element, await page dot locator. So this is the drop down element. So I'm storing that element in a variable. I say drop down. And this is, I can say const variable. And what is the type of this is variable is locator type itself. Okay. So I capture the locator drop down. So this drop down element. From the drop down, I want to select the value. And what is the method we have to use to select the value from the drop down? What is the method? Select option. So drop down dot select option. So we can directly put visible text, or you can use a label like Playwright Locator. You can say LABEL. So label should be what? 25. That you can specify. So anything is fine, whichever way you want, you can use. So this will select the value from the drop down. So this select option method will return the promise. So we need to keep await before that. Okay. So now we successfully selected the value, which is 25 we selected. So once the 25 is got selected, how many rows we are expecting in this? 25 rows we are expecting. So we need to find the number of rows present in the table. So to find the number of rows in a table, first of all, what we need to do, we need to capture the rows from the table. All the rows we need to locate. Now inspect this element and write the locator. So basically it is what? It is a table. Let me inspect the table. I think we already written the locator for the table before. No? Yeah, here it is. So this will actually capture all the rows from a table. 25 rows. You can see 25 we selected and our locator is pointing 25 elements. For example, let's say I'm selecting only 10. Now here 10 elements is matching perfectly fine. So when I select 50 and the same locator pointing to 50. So exactly it should match. So now I'm using this locator which will return all the rows from the table. So let us capture the rows from the table. Here await is not needed. So let us capture the rows from the table. Await page dot locator, and here this is a locator. So this will return all the rows from a table in the form of locators, but I want to get them in the form of array. Then how we can use? We can say all, convert them into all. So now we are returning an array of rows. Rows contains array. So I'm storing them in the rows, make it as a variable. So now the rows is what? It is an array. All method returns an array of locators. Now can we count how many are there? I can directly put assertion instead of printing and just directly add assertion. So I can say expect rows dot length to be equal to what? So what is the value we have selected here? The same value we need to specify. Let's say 25. So this is assertion. Done. So we have also verified the filter is working fine or not. So let's go and execute. I want to run only this particular test. So I just add one annotation called only. This is called annotation only piece. Only this test will be executed even though if you have a multiple test methods. The first test method will be ignored. Right. So go back and new terminal. Execute. So the filter option also verified from the pagination table. Yes, now initially it is a 10. Oh, sorry, it is executing all the test. Just a moment. Just a second. We have not closed this bracket properly actually. So here else here we need to close this. Okay, this curly braces. But this is a while loop. This is the curly braces of the this particular method and this one. So this is done. Let me save it. So you can also use to have count, but if it is in the locator if it is in the locator form. Okay, close this. Okay, so now I put test only. So this only should be executed. Go to terminal once again. Launching my page, done. So one test is got passed, means the count is exactly passed. Okay, so if you want to use a to have count, then how we can use? You should not convert this into array. So same thing you can do in another way. For example, don't use all method. If I don't use all method, in which format we are getting here? In the locator format, right? So here I can call this a rows to, for example. So now this is returning in the locator format. But in this locator, there are multiple rows. Then you can use here rows of 2 dot have count. Have count. And here you can say 25. Right? So this is another way to put assertion. So if we convert into array, then length you have to use from the rows, capture the length, and here we are verifying the value. And here we are capturing all the rows. On the top of the rows, we are putting to have count. So to have count will return the promise. And what is the difference? Here we are verifying the value equal or not. Here we are checking count is equal or not. In this particular locator, all the locators are exactly equal to 25 or not. We are verifying. Okay, this is approach 1 and this is approach 2. Okay, so you can use any one of them. So let's run one more time. Okay, done. So it is get passed. Right. So we successfully done filtering of the rows. Now let me try another one. I'll copy the test. Another test. So I just remove only. So this time I will do another test. Searching. Search for specific data in a table. Search for specific data in a table. It's very simple again. So how we can do that? So launching the page, remove all this stuff. So searching the data from a table. So where we need to start? So the data can be present in any page. So not only the first page. Let's say currently the data is displayed on the first page. Probably the data will be there in some last page or the middle page. Wherever it is, we should be able to search for it. So for that, what we need to start from the search box. We need to locate the search box first, and then we will pass the value in it. So inspect the search box element, and we have an ID. Go back to selector hub, hash ID, matching with the search box and get that search box element. So here I can say page dot locator, and this is a search box element. Search input element. Okay, search box. So this is const alert. So what is this actually? This is a search box element, which is a locator, Now we need to pass search element inside this input box. So search box dot fill, search box dot fill. Now I'll try to pass some value and which is present in some last page or somewhere. So not in the first page. So let's go to the 5th page. And you can pass any value, whichever you want. Let's say 4th page. Yeah, now I'll take this one, Paul Bird, okay, which is actually present in the 4th page. So that I'm passing. So this value you can change whenever you want. So this fill method will return a promise. So just keep await before that. Okay. Now we find out the search box element and we pass some text. So as soon as you pass the text, then what will happen? So now I'm passing the text. Immediately, the specific record is displayed in the table, right? The only one record is displayed in the table. So now we need to capture. Sometimes the same name will be there in multiple records, right? Possibility is there. Same name, multiple customers are having same name. Possibility is there or not? Yes. So here it is displayed only one row, but sometimes you may display multiple rows also. So we need to check this particular name is present in the data or not. In the whatever rows are displayed here, in the all the rows we need to verify that this data is present in the rows or not. We need to verify. So we need to capture all the rows from the table, after searching. So how to get rows from the table? We already get it here. All the rows. So get this. As soon as you provide the text, I'm capturing all the rows from the table. So once you get all the rows from the table, then we need to check the particular text is present in the row or not. So, but what is the precondition? Sometimes suppose there is no data is available with this name. So you don't find any rows, right? But when you can search for this keyword, when you can search for the name in the table, at least you have one record. At least one record set you should display. Then only you can verify the text present in the table, right? So that condition we need to verify. So how we can verify? If this rows is what? An array. Rows dot length greater than equal to 1. At least one row should be there. So then only we can do the search. So this is the first condition. Okay, if rows greater than or equal to 1, then we will find the search option. Suppose else, then what you will do? If rows not greater than or equal to 1, there are no rows. So simply you can print a one message, console.log off. I can say no rows found with search text. Okay, so whatever the text we have given with this search, there is no rows found. So in else block we will execute. But what we will do in the if block? Okay, if the rows are greater than or equal to 1, so we need to find all the rows which are having this particular text. So how to find all the rows? Okay, so how to find all the rows? So we already have the rows here, right? So we need to write one for loop inside this because we need to repeat all the rows. In the if condition, I'm writing one for loop. And what I will do inside the for loop, from all the rows, I will read each and every row one by one. And inside the for loop, I will get the inner text from this particular row, inner text of that particular row, and that I want to compare with what? Compare with includes or not. Includes or not. So whatever the text here, I'm storing that in a text variable. Let's say this is again another let text variable, or you can say const. So from each row, from all the rows, I'm reading each and every row and get the inner text of the text. And this text should contains whatever the text we have searched, because this text contains what? The entire row data, the entire row data. Now in this data, I want to search this particular value is present or not. So we can put one more if condition inside the for loop. If this particular text includes, await text dot includes. So here inner text will return the promise. So we need to put await here. So here text dot includes. What is the text we are expecting? This is the text we are expecting. Includes this one. So then what we should do? Match is found. So record is found. So what I will do is I will create a variable before starting, after starting if condition, before starting for loop, I'll maintain a variable. Match found or not. So currently match found I'm taking with false. Okay. So as soon as you read the text from the, you read the inner text from the entire row and the text contains this value. Now what will happen? The match found becomes true. Match found becomes true. So otherwise, if no matching record available in the table, then match found is always false only. So when the match found value becomes true, if the value found, if the text as includes Paul Beard, then match found is a true. And then here I can use a break. Here I will use a break because this is a for loop. Okay. So now this is the complete logic, guys. Just understand this. So here you can write a console window, console.log-off. I can say record exist or found. I'm just writing a simple message. So let me recap what exactly we have implemented here. So first we located the search box input, we passed some value, and after that it is displayed. Maybe it can be single row or sometimes it can be multiple rows. So we need to check this particular value is present in the particular table rows. So for that we captured all the rows. And before checking the value in the rows, first of all, we need to have at least one row. That's the prerequisite. So I put one condition, rows.length greater than 0, greater than 1, then only we'll implement this logic. This is searching logic. And if it is false, then we can simply say no rows found with the search. So inside the if condition, so whenever you found a match, to make it true, I will maintain one variable because this variable I will use it for assertion later. Okay, so even if you don't specify, no problem. So later I will add this or else. If you are confusing, later I will try to add. Okay, simple. I'll make very simple. So if the rows dot length greater than or equal to 1, for example, then from all the rows, I'm reading each and every row. From that row, getting the inner text, and the text contains this value or not. If the value contains, I'm just printing record exist or found and break the for loop. Break the for loop. Suppose if it is not matching, then what will happen? Again, it will get another row and again it will implement this logic. So again, it will get another row and again get the inner text, check the value present or not. If it is not present, then again get another row. So it will check all the rows. Suppose if it is not found in all the rows, the for loop is completed, then if condition true, then only it will execute, right? So after completion of everything, then finally come out from the if block. So here I'm using some variable for reference because here we are recording exist found, but record not exist is also we need to verify as part of assertion. So that is the reason I'm taking this particular variable, and here I will make that variable is true. As soon as you found, I make it as a true. Why I'm using after coming out of this particular block, I can write one assertion. So after coming out from this for loop, here we can write one assertion. I say expect match found. What we are expecting? Match found value should be true. Match found value should be true. That's what we are expecting. So match found dot to be, you can say true. Okay, this is how we can. So another type of assertion is also there. You can use like this. Expect match found, especially for Boolean values, we prefer this. Match found value is what? Boolean only, right? So dot to be truthy. This is a method to be truthy. So this is another way we can do that. Okay, we are just comparing the Boolean value, but here also comparing the Boolean value. So both are same. So this is the logic. So if the rows dot length greater than 1, at least one row should be there. Then only we will implement this logic. If there is no rows available, 0 rows available, then simply we can print no rows found with the search text. So this is the logic. Okay. So we can implement the logic in multiple ways, but this is the best logic which I have implemented. So here we have to break. When you use break here, this break will exist from the for loop actually. So where is for loop started? Here it is started. So this is actual for loop. After exiting, here we are checking match found or not. Okay. So let's go and execute the test. So now I want to run only this particular test. I remove only option there. Go to terminal, new terminal, and run it. Okay. Launched the page and execution is also done. So it went very faster. So what I can do is I will just put some weight here so that you can see whether it is properly searching or not. Await page dot wait for timeout. 5 seconds. I will try to wait here. Okay, so run in edit mode. Now you can see in the search box, we printed the value. Only one record is displayed. Even if you have multiple records, it will go and check. Perfect. So one is passed. Right. So this is how we can do different kinds of validations on the pagination tables. So don't think all pagination tables are exactly the same. The logic keeps changing because there are so many kinds of designs you can find on the web pages. So you need to implement the logic accordingly based on the design of the table. Okay. So clear everyone. So this is all about dynamic table and then pagination table. Fine. So based on this, I will give you few assignments so you guys can try them. before coming to the next class, let me explain what are those assignments. So the first assignment is a dynamic table. So let's go to this page. I already given the requirement also, test scenarios. I already shown you in the before. So let me open the page. And in this, you can find something called dynamic web table. So you need to do 4 validations here. So in our class example, I have shown you same kind of a dynamic table with one single scenario. But you need to also add 3 more additional scenarios, which is very important. But you will face some challenge here. We will see how you are able to solve that. So if you're not able to solve, we will see in the next class. I will also provide the solution for that. You can just cross check once. Okay. Right. So this is a one thing you need to automate. 4 requirements are there. So this is 4 requirements clearly mentioned here. Second thing, pagination table. So this is very simple design. In the same page, you can scroll down. Pagination table. So what you need to do in this is, so by default, the first page is displayed. You need to read first 3 columns. Not only reading the data, you need to select this option. After that, go to the second row, read the text from 3 columns, then select the text. From the last column, you need to select the text. Again, go to the third row, read this data and select the checkbox. Like this, once you need to complete the first page, then go to second page. And again, read the data from all the rows. Also, parallelly, you need to select all the options like this and navigate to all the pages. So 4 pages are there. This is fixed. It is not dynamic actually. It's just a paging. So you guys can try this. I will also provide the solution for this. This is the dynamic table and pagination table. So apart from this, another example, this is end-to-end test, okay, which includes drop downs or tables. So whatever topics so far we have learned, all the topics are included in the test case. So this is end-to-end test. So let me show you what it is. Go to this blazedemo.com. So you will see the first page like this. In this, you need to select the departure city and destination city. For example, in the departure city, I'm selecting something called Boston. And whichever way you want to select, whichever value you want, you can select. Then London, I'm selecting. So once you selected, you need to click on the find flights. So once you click on the find flights, then you will see the table. This is a web table. So in this table, you need to capture all the prices from the last column and find the lowest price. Find the lowest price. Here you need to apply sorting technique of an array. So you need to first capture all the prices from the last column and sort it. Once you sorted, you will find the lowest price in the first index. That is 200. And whichever the lowest price you have found in the price, just on the same row, go to the first column, click on the choose this flight. Then you will see the form. In this particular form, you fill all the details: name, address, city, state, zip code. This is again another drop down. So all the details you need to fill and then purchase flight. Then you have to verify this particular message displayed on the page or not. And these values are dummy values. They are not correct actually. So you cannot do anything. So only the message you can validate. Thank you for your purchase today. So this is our end-to-end test complete. All elements are involved in this end test. I've given all the steps, how we can do and what we need to do all the things. The major important part is this one, array. This is the most important point. So you already know how to select the data from the drop down. You already know how to put the value in the input boxes. And the table is very important. So we need to capture all the prices. Among them, find the lowest price and go to the particular row button, choose this flight, and then move forward. This is the end-to-end test. You guys can try this. I will provide the solution for this. So, but you try yourself first. And if you stuck somewhere, then you can refer my example. Okay. So that's it for today's class. We will stop here. We'll continue in the next class.